We are live. Let's make sure this is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It says it's live. All right. Volume sounds decent. Everything is good. Thank you all so much for joining us. I just had my lunch a little bit ago, so I apologize for that. I appreciate all of you. Thank you once again for joining us for our weekly AMA. We are hanging out for about 30 minutes. If you haven't met me before, I'm Jackson Wood. I am the marketing and events coordinator for Japanime Games. I also do a bunch of other stuff, and one never knows exactly what I might be doing at any given time. Kind of like atoms. We're just like, I might be an electron halfway across the galaxy one moment. But we appreciate you. We appreciate you joining us, even if it is not while we're live, but in fact, sometime after we're live. Because it doesn't matter, as long as you're here to enjoy what we have to talk about, what's going on, and whatever else may be. But in fact, sometime after going on in the background, as I end up having some volume there. But, if you've joined us, welcome once again. Ask your questions. Ask whatever burning desires you may have of Japanime Games. Can't promise we're going to do anything with them, but I can promise you I will answer your questions to the best of my ability. So, as I stand up, or sit up in this case, to sort of give you a camera adjustment. It's never quite what you think, because you always move afterwards. At least I do. Escort me. Hard to sit still kind of guy. So the big stuff that's on the table right now, we had to postpone the Tokyo Sidekick Kickstarter a couple of weeks. Next week, 2 weeks, 21st? 2 weeks-ish. So, 21st of this month, we will be going live with the Tokyo Sidekick Kickstarter. If you are a fan of cooperative board games or a lover of superheroes, then this is the game for you. It has a deck-building aspect to it, where you are getting energy cards to power your abilities, and then using them to fight against incidents occurring across Tokyo, villains, supervillains, and eventually a menace, which is the big bad. If you followed us on social media, we did a teaser of one of the menaces, King Kaiju, obviously inspired by Godzilla and other kaiju. And that's the easiest of the three. So what could the other two be? Well, you're going to have to get the game to find out, but you will get to see the game and more soon. Copies are going out to reviewers. They are getting done, so reviewers are getting to work on those things. And then we'll go to the Kickstarter, and then we'll get to production as soon as the Kickstarter's done. If you haven't done a Kickstarter with us before, though I suspect most people watching have, we do 2 weeks. So 2 weeks, 2 days, 16-day cycles. A lot of companies will do the 30 days, which is fine. We just think that at that point in time, it's better for us to get it, knock it out, get the Kickstarter taken care of, get you all taken care of, and then get the game into production as soon as possible. 1 or 2 weeks might not seem like a lot, but honestly, 1 or 2 weeks can make the difference between an exceptional product and a product that's done on arrival. At least in my personal experience. I'm not speaking for the company on that one, I'm speaking for myself, however. Here I am. So, yet again, thank you all so much for joining us. I'm going to hang out and talk for a while, and then I might cut it short if I don't hear from anybody for part of it, but that's okay. If you are part of Team Japanime, an email went out, and if you're not part of Team Japanime, you might want to be. We are opening playtest sessions. We have a number of products that are upcoming over the next couple of years, and we want to get playtesting done for them. So if that sounds like something that's fun to you, reach out to join Team Japanime, and we'll see if we can get you added to the playtest cycles. We're really excited for it. We have a phenomenal game coming up that I can't talk too much about now, but if you've seen some of Eric's teasers, that might have something to do with it. Or maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's a red herring. Whatever the answer may be, we're really excited to share the future of those things with you as we go along. So yeah, that's really exciting for us. Next up is digital shows. The next big one is going to be Gen Con. That's right, Gen Con's coming up. We got a lot of fun stuff planned for you. We're going to have demos over the course of Gen Con weekend. You're going to want to go into our Discord to find out about that. We're getting the infrastructure for it, but it's all going to be done through Tabletopia. The reason for that is, while Tabletopia does not have the best scripting, at least because I had to do everything myself, it will let you get to play the game in a demo environment. And that way you don't have to have Tabletop Simulator, because not everybody has access to Steam, not everybody dropped money on that. So we wanted to open it up in the most accessible fashion to you possible. Yeah, I mean, that's just the big one. Accessibility is huge. And so, like, it sucks that, you know, you had to have the barrier for entry of a convention or otherwise, but we're also going to be giving these tools to Team Japanime volunteers, so that they'll be able to demo and play these games with their communities. So again, if that sounds like something you're excited about, reach out about Team Japanime, let us know, and we'll do something with it. Again, thank you for those few people who have joined us since we've gone live. Appreciate all of you. I'm just kind of talking about the stuff that's been happening and what's coming up. So I talked about Tokyo Sidekick being delayed, talked about Team Japanime and playtest opportunities, as well as some other stuff, including conventions and demos of games being put onto Tabletopia. Thank you, Colin. We think it's exciting. So again, if you have any questions, now is the time. Otherwise, I'm just going to kind of fill the space with things that I think are important, go over the minutes, as it were, to be like, here's this thing, here's this thing, here's this thing. So it is always more exciting for me if you participate. Again, there's not always a lot of you, but we're sharing our time together, and I love good conversations. And so I'm going to keep doing this until I eventually either like have a following of people who come and join us every Friday, and we hang out for 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. Again, that's easily more doable the more of you there are asking questions. Or the other route, it ends up dying. It's a failed experiment. We learn from it. We take that information. We do something different in the future. There's no wrong answer. But that little tangent aside, going back to it, conventions are the next big one. Conventions are going to be starting with Gen Con. We've done a few virtual shows since then. A number of shows we were planning to go to this year have canceled and don't have a virtual analog, and for that we are sorry. But I do have good news. Similar to the Team Japanime stuff, we are going to try to host a weekend or two throughout the year of just come hang out with us on Discord or in rooms similar to this and play games with us, because we want to spend time with our communities. We are going to be talking with Deepwater Games, because Elle, their marketing person, who is effectively an analog of me, and vice versa. I'm an analog of Elle. Elle is an analog of Jackson. And just to work together to do something fun. Deepwater Games is one of my personal favorites. They make phenomenal stuff. They just rescued, for lack of a better term, 3 games that just weren't going to find publishers that had done really well. And so they're bringing those games under their flagship, which is awesome. So that's something to look forward to for the rest of the year as well. But again, ask me your questions. That way it could be a little bit more interactive. So convention's a big thing. Playtesting's big. What else do we have lined up? Retailer bundles have gone out pretty much as they were coming in. That promotion ended at the end of June. But you will be able to see the fruits of those labors in your local store if they manage to get it. So hopefully they did, and hopefully you get access to some amazing Japanime Games products. We're really excited about the response for the bundle. We got hundreds upon hundreds of people reaching out about it, which is always exciting. And because of the new sales component to the things that I am doing, I'll actually be reaching out to all of those retailers in the coming weeks, trying to set up meetings, trying to figure out what we could do to make things better for everybody. Because, I mean, that's just kind of how things go. So let's see here. What are things that I can talk about that you might care most about? We just had a review done by the Game Shelf in the UK. They are phenomenal. They just reviewed Cowboy Bebop. And it's always something that I like to showcase, mostly because they have a lot of really great words to express about the game. And they talk about it from both Amy and Fee. The two of them talk about their thoughts throughout. And it's something that I wanted to... Don't worry about the things in the back. I always have so many things in the background. And I'll talk about them briefly, mostly because I love reviews of any kind. And while it was not the most overwhelming, like 10 out of 10 review, it was a 6 out of 5 review for very good reason. It's got a lot of really good notes. It talks about things being very representative of what's going on there, which I always appreciate. Like, I want legitimate criticisms and I want legitimate reviews about stuff. So if you want to see what it takes to make a review, see what they did. We posted it earlier today. I will post it in the chat by the end of things. They talk about the game in depth in a way that really, like, makes sense for the game. And they really critically analyze it. And so it doesn't matter if it's a good or a bad review as long as they are giving you an honest opinion. It doesn't even have to be respectful. It just has to be honest. So if you're looking to get into reviews, that's a great thing to go into. Colin, gonna get to your question now. I know we want a little bit of ramble. What project am I most looking forward to this year? I am most looking forward myself to the game that is behind the playtesting stuff. Obviously, that's me being like, market. But I'm deeply excited about that. Mostly because it is a game that is going to incorporate a lot of aspects that I love about our industry and the things that we gather around anime-style games for. So that part is really exciting for me. I'm also deeply excited about Tokyo Sidekick. I know that's our next project, but I love cooperative games. Spirit Island is easily in my top 5 games of all time. Like Spirit Island, Lords of Waterdeep, Cowboy Bebop, Space Serenade is probably my favorite deck builder right now. Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill Legacy is up there as well, as it has that semi-cooperative nature. And then number 5, who knows? That one's always rotating. I'm a worker placement kind of person, so like I love Demon Worker on our catalog. I love Viticulture. I love, again, Lords of Waterdeep. All kinds of stuff. So, Tokyo Sidekick is really exciting to me because it has this deck building aspect centered around superheroes and like using their abilities and moving around Tokyo. And the game is huge. If you haven't seen it, there's a picture with Eric and a couple of other buddies in China holding up their like big games, Gloomhaven and Madara. The people are not the people who produce it, the opposites of each other. But still, like, all the people who make those games are in that photo. And it is gigantic. So that's really exciting. Again, the pre-production copies are out there, so reviews are going to start coming in, which is really exciting for me. So those are the big ones there. We have a number of other board games that aren't going to Kickstarter this year that we haven't talked about at all right now that I am utterly excited for. We have another worker placement style game that's coming up. That's about the most I can say on that. We got another small box game. We got a lot. We're doing a lot of games these days, which is super exciting to me. The problem is I can't talk about a lot of these projects more deeply yet, which really bums me out because it's going to be so good. But I'm going to drop a bunch of hints, because as long as I don't say exactly what the thing is, I can't get myself in trouble with myself by talking about the stuff that I think is cool. So yeah, if you saw some of our other previous spoilers, that might be related to the game that we're playtesting. We have some cool promos planned for the rest of the year, so that's always exciting. I'm excited to take on the sales component for the company, and really helps retail stores get back and revitalized and hopefully in a position of security, because it's really exhausting and startling. Like, that sucks. Like, no one needs No one needs to be in that position. So, I think that's the big stuff there. Hopefully that answers your question, Colin. I know we talk on Facebook from time to time, but I love you asking in the chat so that other people can see. What other questions do we got, you couple of folks who are watching? Like, this is a great opportunity for you, Colin, to just be like, hey, like, I want to know about this, and I haven't asked you yet. Like, we want to know. As I'm also just, like, looking at things, being like, oh, I guess this reviewer has this. This reviewer has this. There's a lot of truth. That's kind of the big stuff. There's always the lag time, too, so I'm going to be talking about stuff while Colin formulates some questions for me, I'm sure. Have I been able to look at any How to Crown Kickstarter material? That is not something I can talk about at the moment, but I can say, at least currently, there is... Of the 3 games that I would say are like sort of in the central pocket of our game, so Heart of Crown, Tanto Kure, and Kamigami Battles, Heart of Crown doesn't have anything upcoming for the time being. So of those 3, Heart of Crown is the odd one out. However you might want to take that. But again, always so like, oh, more Tanto. I mean, you got a good question out of me that way. We don't have any other Tanto material right now. We are going to evaluate and take this information that we got from the Kickstarter to Arclight. They are the partner that we work with on Tanto Kure stuff. They are the company that we licensed Tanto Kure from, for, like, without going into, like, specific details. Japan originally, to bring it to the States. So 1 through 3 was done with Arclight, and then 4 and 5 were done, as you may have followed the stories, via Japanime Games, pushing it to Arclight for approval, opposed to Arclight having made it and then us taking it to wider audiences. So, the only real stuff that's going on with that is the Tanto Kure video game right now. The development team for that is working diligently. So Team Japan, or Japanime Digital, the imprint that we have, is working real hard, as you may have seen with Heather's updates today. There's a lot of stuff going on. Those loading screens, we're getting ready to start voice recording stuff, so we're going to be doing that soon, which is really exciting. Everything's going to be exciting. I wish I had a better word. And I'm too lazy to vary my word choice. But I'm really excited for the digital game to come out so that I can play with even more of you online. I know I need to sit down with Colin and play Heart of Crown online at some point in the future. I haven't gotten around to that because while I may seem very relaxed and chilled out, I'm a very, very busy boy. I'm spinning many project plates at the same time, and if I'm busy, you can only imagine how busy Heather is. We are trying to dive into the digital arena even more. Part of that's done through putting things on Tabletopia, just because, again, as I said earlier in the live stream, it's more accessible. More people have the availability to just make an account and not have to pay anything to be able to do demos or play games, and that's part of what we want with that platform. And then to get the premium experience, a la the apps or the digital versions like Heart of Crown or Tanto Kure, like, that's going to be the premium. That's what's going on there. So, but right now, given the COVID situation, it only makes sense to pivot and try to explore new opportunities or new routes that were not necessarily available to us before, or weren't really fitting into our structure. We're doing these virtual shows for that reason, right? Like, part of what my job was before all this happened, I got hired in February and try to do a lot of stuff, but it's only July. So it's been 5 months since, like 4.5, 5 months since I was hired, and radically different from when I was hired. Like, part of my job was going to be going to conventions, organizing conventions, dealing with volunteers and getting them set up, and and getting all these things rolling, right? Yeah, like in terms of time frame, and I think I've told you the story, but the story as to how I got hired was really exciting too, at least for me. And so, like, my last couple of shows were PAX East and Gamma, which are, like, really interesting shows to end on for a year, to pivoting to this. And so we made the shift towards these digital options because we want to stay connected to our community, which is why I've started in the last couple of weeks, started doing this AMA, because I want to give you a piece of my time every week to ask your questions and hang out. And I mean, it is a little narcissistic, but also just listen to me talk for 30 plus minutes. So that's kind of the background there. It also lets me play around to test stuff because I actually like streaming. I like hanging out with you all, and I am a very social person, and so missing out on conventions is personally difficult for me because it is a place that I thrive. It is the environment that I am best suited to do my work. So it is a bit of a bummer. But that's okay. But what other questions do folks have? Go ahead and type out multiple at once, or give me a bunch of things. Again, I will always try to answer your questions to the best of my ability. The reason I say that is we're coming up on about the 30-minute mark, and I don't want to talk endlessly about things that don't matter. I want to keep it digestible. 30 minutes is pretty reasonable to me, especially for just a short little live stream. And, it gives you the opportunities. And if this time isn't working, like, let us know in the comments. I'm going to try to do some streams that accommodate European viewers as well, so it might be a little bit harder for me given my time frame, but I want to make sure that I set aside time for all of you and make sure that you are heard to some extent. So, if those are things that you're interested in, like, please let me know. Because I want to do things for you. I'm just going through my notes, seeing if there's anything else that's super important to talk about before we close things up. Well, thank you, Colin. I mean, those are good questions. I will pose a question as I get ready to wind things down and get out of here. But what games are people playing these days? Why are you playing those games? What about those games makes you feel the way you do to keep playing them? And then beyond that, like, what shows are we watching? What animes are we consuming? To answer for myself, I just played Call to Adventure the other day. I'm going to be picking up, as I was talking about, my top 5. Pardon me. My top 5, Betrayal at House on Haunted Hill Legacy. So that's going to be exciting. As far as video games go, I've actually been playing the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man in my downtime. I finally got around to getting it. I was well behind on that, and that game is so much fun. And even if it's going to be short-lived or, like, smaller, it's not... It's like an expansion, not a full game, which is a bummer. The Miles Morales Spider-Man, I am so excited for. So... Ooh, Spellweaver TCG. You will have to tell me about that, Colin. Hit me up on Facebook later. I want to hear about the Spellweaver TCG. Because I have not seen anything about that, and I trust you when it comes to TCGs. You and Jeremy are like my two go-to people for that stuff. I haven't played Pokemon in forever, but Pokemon's fun. Anime-wise, I'm watching through No Game, No Life. I'm all caught up on My Hero Academia. I'm waiting for Fire Force Season 2. It's starting. I'm going to give it a little bit of time before I catch up on it. No Guns Life. Again, No Game, No Life, No Guns Life. I cannot wait for Season 2 of No Guns Life, which is my goofiest anime that I enjoy watching. Yeah, there's so many good ones out there. Yeah, I've been playing Spider-Man. Super excited. One Punch Man is amazing. I'm all caught up on that right now. But I love me some One Punch Man. I am waiting for next week. A week from today, Ghost of Tsushima. Gotta give that a jam. For those that don't know me, I lived in Japan for a good while. And I'm really excited to see what that game is about. Waiting for that. Waiting for Godfall on PlayStation 5. I'm that kind of nerd. The next Horizon Zero Dawn. I went back and replayed the first one all the way through again, just because I saw that was coming out. Love that game. Aloy. Aloy my peeps. Aloy my peeps. And just, if John Oliver is going to reference Horizon Zero Dawn in Last Week with John Oliver, it's a pretty good bet as far as I'm concerned. So, that's kind of the big stuff there. Like, keep enjoying shows. Keep enjoying the things you love. Talk to us about it. Visit us on our Discord channel. It's starting to thrive more. People are having conversations more frequently. We have, doing the numbers here, almost 250 people in there, hanging out, talking about Japanime Games products, talking about anime, talking about... A lot of companies are very much about their games, their products, their thing. And I'm going to talk about our stuff all the time, don't get me wrong. But I love talking about the great games that are out there that people are playing. Like I said, I love Spirit Island. I cannot wait for Greater Than Games to put out Jagged Earth. All of those new spirits look buck wild. And I love weird, complex games like that. I love the crunchiness. So that's my jam. Don't get me wrong. I'm also playing RPGs with friends online. I have a long-standing group that I play with every week. Elle, the person I mentioned, is also in that group. So if you're on the Deepwater side of things, that's exciting. And it might be one of those things where we actually have like a sit-down between Elle and I and just kind of chat about our RPG lives outside of work. Because that's really cool. That's what I got for now. As always, I love you all. Colin, again, reach out to me on Facebook. You lovely human, you. You're one of my favorite people, so thank you so much. To everybody else who joined us now or joins us in the future, let us know your thoughts. We want to hear about it. Like, I do these live streams for fun. I do it so I can connect with all of you. So, I appreciate you. And beyond that, stay safe out there. Take care of one another. Support good causes. I mean, it's as simple as that. Just be kind to each other. Stop being jerks. Until next week, when we do this again, I'm Jackson Wood. I'm with Japanime Games. I do marketing, some other fun stuff. See you later, all you cool kids. Bye-bye for now.